Well, all right. So let's get into it, man. We're gonna talk about what took us so long to get back in front of these cameras, get back on this microphone. So I went to. I'll try to make it as short as possible, though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna talk y'all ear off the whole show about it, but so I tried. I was basically celebrating my anniversary with my girl. We was in Vegas, and we had different activities we were doing. We did indoor skydiving, we did escape rooms, of course we gambled, all that good stuff, and one of them was also jet skis. So I don't know why I'm so tired right now. So yeah, one of the activities was jet skis. So we decided to go a little further out to this lake called Lake Havasu. It's not in Vegas, but it was in arm's reach to where we can go. We can come back to Vegas and and still be good. So we went to our launch area, whatever. We doing the jet ski thing and all of that, and we end up we having a ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm all in the water. I'm going to the middle. I'm doing all kind of crazy. Sometimes I think they said at one point I was going like 40 some an hour and all that. Like, was having a good time or whatever. So at one point. I ended up. So I guess like when you're on a jet ski, they tell you like when you're turning, I guess you're supposed to like speed into the turn, and for whatever reason at that moment, I decided to try to slow down and kind of like ease into the turn, and for me doing that awkwardly, I end up falling into the water. So as I fall into the water, that wasn't really the issue. The issue was that I had a life jacket on that wasn't on correctly. All right. So where was I when I fell off, right?
Yeah,
so I
the
fall
life
off the
jacket.
jet ski. My life jacket ain't on right. And so it's like floating over my head. So it's like as I'm trying to obviously my first mode as soon as I fall in the water is like just panic. Like, okay, like let me get back to this jet ski. Let me get back to this jet ski. But, you know, obviously that's the worst thing you can do is panic, when you're in the water. So I'm not like really getting no real traction. I'm just fighting. So I'm exhausting my body already. And then I do think for a second, like, you know what, you're supposed to relax in these situations and be calm. So I calm down and I just start, doing what I know how. I start swimming towards my jet ski. For all the people who keep asking, like, oh, he can't swim, like I was swimming. Like I was swimming back to my jet ski, but the problem was my life jacket starts pushing me back from getting to my jet ski. So then I panic again now because it's like, oh my gosh, like now I can't even get to my spit. And then when you in the water and you was just driving around somewhere, it's like
Got
the
the
waves is
waves.
what I'm saying is pushing the jet ski around, even though the key is not on there. So now my jet ski getting away from me, and now I'm like in this huge lake. If anybody ain't never seen Lake Havasu, please look it up. Like it's like damn near like an ocean. Like, and then I'm under the water at one point to where I can like not see the floor. So it's like any negative connotation I could think of at the time just ran through my mind. To the point to where it's like, okay, this jet ski getting away from me. This life jacket is over my head. It's like only thing I have to depend on right now. I just gotta hope God makes a way. But at one point throughout that, like because I'm in the water struggling and I'm swallowing water and I'm fighting and going back and forth, there was literally a point where I remember just turning around in the water and just looking up and just thinking like damn, this is it right here. Like like this is literally it. I was like, damn, like this is how I'm gonna go out. And it wasn't even about me. It was about like I'm thinking about all the people that would be impacted by it, all the people whose lives I touch, all the people who I'm that are close to me, the people that I have positive impacts on. I'm just literally thinking about everything. I'm thinking about how much more I have to give. How many people I still want to touch, how many people I still want to just feel my love, for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how I am. So I'm like still thinking about everybody else at the moment, and everything else at the moment while I'm fighting for my life. And then my girl, she finally comes back around because she just sees me. She sees the jet ski but doesn't see me on it. So she finally comes back around. This is probably like 2-3 minutes of me already in the water fighting or whatever. So she comes back. Obviously, I start yelling at her, like, like, come help, come help. You know what I'm saying? Like, help, like, bring your jet ski over. Because the first thing she do, because she immediately just starts panicking. You know what I'm saying? So her first thought was, let me pull my phone out and call 911. She told me this later. Like, she was trying to call like 911 or trying to call somebody. But at the same time, I'm like, man, F that phone. Like, come bring that jet ski over here. Like, F all of that. Like, you ain't got time to call nobody. So then she follows instructions. She tries to pull the jet ski around. She tries to get it for me so I can, like, because what they told us before we got on was like we can grab the back. So that's what I was attempting to do. But she brought something up later. Like, we were struggling on getting on the back part. Even when we were like on level ground. So we thought about it later. Like, how would they expect us? Like, if we in a situation like that it was just gonna be that easy for us to just grab it and get on. So obviously we were struggling with that. And once we realized I couldn't touch it, she just like threw her arm out. You know what I'm saying? Threw her arm at me, like, man, grab my arm. And I thought about grabbing her arm, but at the same time, it was like I felt like that wasn't my best bet because I know I'm a heavyset dude, so I'm like, if I grab her, it's a possibility she probably just gonna fall in here with me, or I'm gonna flip her jet ski over, or whatever, and that ain't gonna help nobody if we both just in here struggling. You know what I'm saying? At least I got a fighting chance if she's on some type of level ground. So at this point, I think is when she starts to calm down and actually like get more poised, and she ends up at this point I think I blacked out. That was when I lost my consciousness. I was fighting too long and my body gave out on me, and from what we speculate, we figured like my body was probably shutting down. Like, I was probably dying at that point. So I start having the situation when I'm just out of it, and then she ends up I guess she ends up seeing a boat from like a distance. So she like, waves at the boat like, hey, like, I need help. But they're so far away, they can't just hear her saying that. So they assume that she's just waving, and they start like waving back. And this is what she's telling me, because like, like I said, I'm out of it at this point. So she said they just start waving back. But she said somebody that was on that boat ends up saying like, nah, like, I don't think she's waving saying hi. Like, I think she needs help. We don't know what, but we think she needs help.
All right, shout out to them.
Yeah, big shout. Yeah, I got their names and all that. Big shout out to them. So she ends up flagging them down. They end up saying like, nah, turn around. We gonna go see what she want, which they didn't have to do. You know what I'm saying? They could have easily just kept pushing and been like, oh, well, I think she's saying hi, or if she do need help, it don't look like it's that serious. Like, she'll be all right. Because they don't see me. You know what I'm saying? They just see her. I'm in the water. Whatever is happening at that moment, I couldn't even tell you. So they end up coming back, and then she starts yelling. I'm like, my man needs help. My man needs help. So she said two of them jumped straight out, straight off the boat, came and got me, and next thing I know, I was waking up on the back of her jet ski, because they was both holding me. Now I wasn't like on it securely. So there was still some fight, because I'm like, I'm a little more heavy set than dude that's holding me. And then, the other dude, I don't remember through everything that happened, like I said, but I just know I heard dude saying like, I was a little heavy, and I'm on the back of the jet ski. I'm not on the boat yet. So then the people from the boat, I guess, ended up telling them like, no, like, bring him over here. So they end up getting me to the boat somehow. Like, I still don't know. Like, but they end up getting me over there somehow. And I remember them telling me like they needed me to help like lift my leg. But man, when I tell you I didn't have a single ounce of energy in me from everything, from me just exhausting myself the way I did and me out there fighting the way I did, like I literally didn't have it. But somehow, some way, I found the strength in me for me to barely lift my leg the way I did, and that was all they asked of me. They said, if you can just get that one little step, man, we'll take it from there, and we'll make sure we get you on there, and that was exactly what they did. So that was how I got out of the water. But then you got this aspect of it. You know, I was in a lot of pain. You know what I'm saying? My stomach was in a lot of pain, probably from all the water I swallowed, whatever. All my levels being down. My kidneys was shutting down, just everything. My mouth was completely dehydrated. I didn't have like no mucus or anything running through it. So, you know, I'm still kind of scared at the moment because I'm like, I still feel like I'm dying because I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on. But at the same time, you know, my faith is kicking in as well. Like you know what? I was just in this water, and I just turned around and said that this was it. So the fact that I'm even on this boat, I think is like it's just a matter of time that whatever is gonna need to take place is just gonna take place and fall into place wherever it needs to fall. So I have those things in my mind, but obviously I'm yelling for help or I'm yelling for water, but you know whatever. I don't know what I'm asking for. I'm just out of it. You know, I'm delirious. So you know, I end up hearing a cop next to me. Okay, let's make sure he's good. I ended up hearing like a cop that was with me at the time. You know, just trying to like, I guess stay with me or you know, just make sure I was good and guess until the helicopter came to airlift me. So the helicopter ends up coming and taking me away. I didn't really enjoy it because I didn't realize it. So you know, it was just like. You know, I was just on the helicopter, but I was still complaining about the same things I was complaining about because I was out of it. You know what I'm saying? My body just felt like just terrible in every way possible. So yeah, so I get to the ER and immediately I threw up, which was probably like the best thing that happened at the moment because you know, a lot of the water or whatever stuff I swallowed or whatever, like it was, you know, that was like the beginning of the healing process to get it out of me and try to get my levels somewhat normal again. So so that happens, but like in the midst of that, in the midst of me throwing up, they had just put an IV in my arm, and the IV that was in my arm because I turned and threw it, and I was throwing up so crazy the way I was, it ends up like coming out, and then I'm like, so now I'm like leaking blood all over my arm, and then in the ER, you know, when they pulling me in, like it looked like my vision was like one of them like ER shows or movies or something when somebody's like about to go, and it's like 10, 15 nurses and doctors running back and forth and all of that. Like that was what my view was. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like I'm still kind of out of it, but you know I know like there's some type of fighting chance. You know what I mean? Now that I'm there. So they end up you know doing whatever work they do, and shout out to the Lake Havasu Medical Regional because they work night and day. You know to keep me alive to where I'm standing before you today. You know, nonstop every night they was checking on me. Like that first night I ain't even get no sleep. They was in my room like probably every 20, 30 minutes giving me some kind of shot or something. And, you know, this is when I was in ICU, you know, for like 3 or 4 days. So there was that aspect. And then there was the dialysis part. You know, they were saying that because they had to put like a cap in me. And they were saying that I was urinating crystals at the time. So because of the crystals that were coming out, and they said they were coming out solid, they were saying they possibly might need to do dialysis to flush them out, but they didn't know where it was coming from. Like the kidney doctor that I had, he told me that he's never in his career seen all of those shapes at once, and anybody that knows me knows I'm probably the most sober person anybody has ever met. I don't drink, I don't smoke, like nothing. So it was like he didn't understand how laughable it was, but he's looking at it like it's Memorial Weekend, you young, you out here in the lake, like you probably was doing something. Yeah. But in the same token, they also said that if I was intoxicated or if I was doing something like that, I wouldn't have made it at all. You know what I mean? They were saying that me being sober and my strength and how young I was probably another thing that saved my life, you know? So I just wanted to share my testimony, man, because it was so many instances where this situation could have turned out a lot differently. You know what I mean? For one, the people on the boat that saved my life, and I'm going to shout them out right now. Because they not only did they save me that day, but they also kept following up with my girl to check on me and make sure I was good. Even to this day, she still like, lightweight talks to them just because they want to check on me and, to see how I'm doing. So, and please forgive me, y'all, if I don't pronounce y'all names right. I'm really gonna try my best, my very, very best. But I just want to tell y'all, man, I really appreciate y'all. I can't thank y'all enough, for what y'all did, man. Y'all changed a lot of my views as a person. I came out of that not having a lot of the same interpretations that I've had of certain people, or it just made me take a step back, man, and not I still feel the same way I feel, as far as a lot of the things that you guys have heard me preach on the show. But I feel like they've kind of altered them a bit, you know what I'm saying? Because they really went out of their way to save my life. And not only that, they also like to follow up with me the way that they have. So here's the names of the people that was all on the boat. Jeff Monge, Shane Sanford, Patrick Quirk, Jake Castle, Justin DiCaprio, Cody Gooch, Sydney Sanford, Michelle Sanford, Natalie Monge, Sherry Monge, Marissa Monge, Olivia Kosia, and Nicole Gooch. And like I said, if I said any of your guys' last names wrong, I really, really apologize. I'm just doing my best, but I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart, man, for what y'all did for me that day. And I'm sure this was life altering for you guys as well. It's something that you guys will never forget. I for sure will never forget it. And I hope, one day I have the chance to thank y'all like personally or something, or face to face. But I definitely wanted to show y'all the love here. But yeah, other than that, man, it was just so many moments that could have turned this differently. If that boat assumes that she's waving and really just turned around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to your girl too.
Man. Huge shout out to you, Jasmine. I know you probably a little shy about me mentioning you on here, but huge shout out to to my wifey. It's actually her birthday on Tuesday as well, so she got a special birthday plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like I'm low key not even allowed to talk back the rest of the year.
Man.
But yeah, man, her even being able to be as poised as she was, you know what I mean, and cause I was on like I guess the local news and the local articles and stuff, and they didn't mention her, but man, like I in a way I feel like she single-handedly saved my life that day, because she could have easily just, who would have known? She could have just sat there and watched and just like, hey, it is what it is, ain't nothing I can do. But the fact that she had that sense of urgency to save my life the way she did, and just sitting, sleeping in the hospital lobby, you know what I'm saying, because she couldn't sleep in ICU with me, like all of that, man. Like I feel like she single-handedly, saved my life that day, you know what I'm saying, because if it wasn't for her, nobody else would even got the chance to save my life the way they did. But it all started with her turning around, finding me, and being poised in the moment to do what she did. So I'm forever indebted to her. You know what I'm saying? I love her to death, and no matter what happens with us going forth, man, like I'm gonna always have that love for her, for what she did. So thank you, baby. My little vulnerable moment. So we had that, my girl being on her toes, the 10 people I named being on their toes. If they told me that if I would have went in the ambulance and I didn't go in the helicopter, I was gone. They said that if I wasn't 28, they said if I was if I was like mid 30s or 40 years old, I probably wouldn't have made it. They said if I wasn't as sober as I am, if I did smoke or drink or whatever, I probably wouldn't have made it.
Damn.
One of the doctors told my girl straight up, like, man, it's like flat out a miracle, the fact that he that he made it. We don't know how he made it, because when I came to the ER, they said my blood pressure was 60/40. So, they watched the miracle as well. They watched God go to work with me. So, you had that. And then, when I was in ICU, one of the nurses came up to me and told me that they, like, when they were working on me that day, they were literally 2 seconds away from going to get the ventilator. So it was just so many instances. I mean, what if my girl does end up getting me out the water, but we try to ignore it and just go about our day, and then something happens later because my levels were still low. You know what I mean? So it was just so many different instances and quote unquote coincidences to where I know, like, it was God. You know what I mean? And I know everybody has their belief system, but it was even some of the nurses and doctors in there who were like, we some of them were flat out saying that they didn't believe or whatever, but at the same time they were like, man, like, I feel like I'm watching something come about, like a higher power, or everything happens for a reason, or like something they just couldn't pinpoint. You know what I mean? But I just feel like the whole thing was us just watching God go to work, even down to the them saying that I was gonna have to get dialysis, and it was like a 2 or 3 day conversation. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where my whole family was calling up to the hospital, like, nonstop, trying to figure out, hey, what's going on? Does he need dialysis, or does he da-da-da-da-da? And they were just saying, like, well, we don't know. And then they got to a point where they were straight up like, well, yeah, we're going to do dialysis today. That was what they told my sister and my girl. They straight up told them, like, yeah, we're going to need to do dialysis, like, today type spit, because his kidneys are just deteriorating, and it's not getting any better. And he's still not, his body isn't fleshing out those crystals that we saw. So they said that for the next 30 minutes, they was just crying and they was just praying. You know what I'm saying? That I, that I don't need the dialysis, or that I'm even, okay after the dialysis. Cause you know what I'm saying?
And real quick, 'cause I don't know exactly what dialysis entails exactly, but do you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't either, but I know you typically, somebody that's on dialysis is like, it's like they're getting out like cancer cells, or like somebody with like lupus, or somebody who's just a lot older and has a lot of stuff that they need fleshed out their body, like a high type diabetes or something like that. So that's not typically somebody that a 28-year-old would be getting in his body. It's like, once you get it in your body, it affects so many things. It might affect you having kids. It might, and then me being as young as I am, ain't no telling what other things it could lead to, because it's supposed to help that, but it might hurt some other things. Ways, so that's why my family, my Uncle Pookie, and my pops and moms, and everybody, and oh, that's another thing. Shout out to every single solitary soul, including my brother right here and my little brother right here. That was praying for me. You know what I'm saying? That was pulling for me. I know everybody didn't know right away, but most people, when they did find out, that was the first thing that they told me, that they did, man. Like, they just started praying. So shout out to everybody who was doing that as well. But yeah, as far as the dialysis thing, my sister said, my sister and my girl, they was together that night or that morning, and they said that they was just crying and they was praying that, like, that I don't need to get dialysis. So and they said 30 minutes later, that same kidney doctor calls them back and said, hey, his urine is starting to flush out the crystals, so we're not going to need to do dialysis because his kidneys are improving now.
Gotcha.
So it was just a long journey, man. I was in there for probably like close to 2 weeks. And I'm still, even right now, I'm not 100%. But, I'm just blessed to even get to the point that I got to. You know what I mean? Once I got on that boat, I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but, everything is, falling into place, and I'm praying that it continues. You know what I mean? I just went to the doctor the other day, and they told me I'm still at stage 3 kidney disease. So, again, there's still a lot of work to be done, but, I'm still here. I'm still talking to y'all. We still having a good time, you know what I'm saying? And, I just gotta take it easy. But I just wanted to share my testimony to y'all, man, because I can't go through a situation like that and, just not project to y'all, how good God was to me, you know what I'm saying, to allow me to see another day and continue to make history, you know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, he wasn't through with me yet. So, I just felt like it just lit another fire under me. I feel like this is my second win, and I got a lot of other projects that I'll be working on coming soon because, I just can't let this second chance go to waste. And, that's exactly what I do going forward. For a lot of the things I thought I was mad about, you know what I'm saying, maybe I wasn't as mad as I thought I was. You know what I'm saying? Um, I got a few healed relationships, you know, that came from this situation, you know, and you know, in some ways, you know, I'm still waiting on my heart to be touched in certain ways for certain things, but you know, I'm just thankful that you know I got to the point that I'm at, you know, and you know, I hope y'all excuse me. You know, this is like something that's really hard for me to talk about. You know what I'm saying? This is a part of the reason why it took us so long to get to a point to where we're filming right now, because I had to get over the mental aspect as well as the physical part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was having little episodes to where I was just having like quick flashbacks of me in the water fighting, and you know I'm probably still gonna deal with some of that going forth because it was traumatic. You know, it was traumatic for me. It was traumatic for my girl, and I'm sure it was maybe to a sense traumatic to the people that were on that boat. You know, that saved me that day. So, you know, again, thank you to all of them. You know, thank y'all for rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, let's just take this as far as we can go, man. And you know, I pray that you know my testimony, you know, touches y'all enough, you know, to where y'all see like, man, God really does do miracles, man. Because you know, I'm a walking, breathing, you know, testimony of it. So, that being said, man, any you got any words, D?
I'm just, you know, as like everybody else, I'm thankful that you're here, and I truly believe that you're here for a reason, just based off of going through all that.
Right.
Without question, you are, because it's like, you know, there's so many people that, you know, wouldn't have made it through a situation like that. People who probably didn't survive lesser things than that.
Right.
So, you know, it's established. You feel me? You a fighter. You got the heart of a fighter, and you know, you here for a big reason for sure.
Right. And I just want to tell you on camera, bro, I love you, man. I thank you for you know walking this journey with me the way you have. You know, we've had a really you know close relationship even prior to us meeting. You know what I mean? And we always knew like we would do something where we'd be locked into some kind of way. We just didn't know how, and it just happened to end up being this falling into place the way it did, man. So, you know, I just really appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, the way you reached out and the concern that you showed, you know, regarding this, man, because it really meant the world to me.
Yeah, likewise, bro. Straight up.